Hello and welcome back to Pennies and Plans, where we discuss all things finance and early retirement related. In this episode, we'll discuss our hybrid workplace pension plans, as this is an aspect that is important when trying to assess your financial worth, especially when contemplating early retirement. In episode 5, we talked about how to calculate your financial worth, and in episode 6, we attempted to calculate our current worth, but we struggled a little on the pensions figure. In this episode, we hope to gain a better understanding of this figure, but there are a few other issues that we need to touch upon. So strap in, because this might get a bit bumpy. So Bob and I have hybrid workplace pensions. This means that our pensions comprise of two elements. One element is called the defined benefit and the other element is called the defined contribution. And just to confuse things even more, in our pension scheme, the defined benefit pension part is called a retirement income builder, and the defined contribution part is termed the investment builder. So what's the differences between these two pension elements? The defined benefit pension part is also known as a final salary pension, and this provides a predetermined retirement income based on factors such as your salary and years of service. One advantage of a defined benefit pension is the security it offers, as the employer takes on the investment risk. You receive a guaranteed income for life, usually indexed to inflation. However, the drawbacks include limited control over investments and potential changes to pension regulations affecting the payout terms. On the other hand, the defined contribution part of the pension is also known as a money purchase pension, and is a pension scheme where both you and your employer can contribute to a pot of money throughout your working years. The final pension income you receive is determined by the performance of the investments made with those contributions. One advantage is the flexibility and control it offers, as you can choose how your pension is invested. However, the investment returns are not guaranteed and the income you receive during retirement may vary. A key difference between the two schemes is obviously who bears the investment risk, whether it's the employer, as in the defined benefit, or the employee in the defined contribution. And in general terms, defined benefit plans are usually considered the better of the two options, because the amount of retirement income is known in advance and is guaranteed and payable for life. In addition, you don't have to worry about the investments because they are professionally managed for you. So this slide explains the key differences between both these elements in respect of our pension plans. This is the retirement income builder, also known as a defined benefit, and each year we build up a block of pension at an accrual rate of 1/85th of our salary. You also get a one-off cash lump sum which is tax-free up to a certain limit, and usually that's 3 times your pension amount at retirement. The flexible savings pot is the investment builder part of it, so that's a defined contribution, and this is where you can contribute through your salary and your employer can also add on. Now, it is worthwhile pointing out that originally these were solely final salary plans, but that changed a number of years ago to this newer hybrid format. At the time it changed to the hybrid format, there was a slight incentive to contribute an additional 1% to the investment builder saving pot, as that was matched at the time by your employer. Needless to say that only lasted a year or so, and thereafter it was just the individual's contribution that was going into the investment builder pot. Although I had suggested that it was a good idea to contribute to this pot, Bob, being Bob, never quite got around to it, so he has never contributed to the investment building in this part of the pension. Stupid boy. The pension does offer some other valuable benefits in terms of life cover, pensions for dependents, and retirement due to ill health, which is good, but there's more required to get to the figures. Hello and welcome to our channel. We are Lizzie and Bob. We're in our 50s, we live in Glasgow, Scotland, and we're heading towards our goal of early retirement by making plans and being careful with our money. Retirement really does throw up so many questions, but hopefully we can break these areas down into manageable and sensible sections that will help us with our plans, choices and decisions. We hope you enjoy and come along with us on this journey. So every year we get a pension statement document. This gives us an idea of what sort of pension we might get at retirement, and it's based on your target retirement age, which for us is 67. It gives details of what your annual pension will be, what sort of tax-free lump sum you might get, and also what amount of money you may have from your investment builder pot. It also gives details of how much you've contributed to your pension under the annual and lifetime allowance limits, and we certainly don't need to worry about ever exceeding them. When you are young, pensions seem like something for old people, and unfortunately, we never quite imagine that one day we are going to be that old person who needs a pension to live on, as we're usually too busy enjoying and living our lives, having our health, our freedom, etc., and we're really just getting started on the exciting adult journey. Well, that was me anyway, and pension deductions from your wage was just something that happened, and I expected by the time I retired there would be a decent pot of money that would keep me in retirement. I started my pension at 18, but Bob was in his mid-20s before he started his. Can you see a theme starting to emerge here with Bob? So the problem is that over the years things have changed a lot. Pension contributions have continually increased. Pension predictions have not increased in line with these increases, and salaries have definitely not been keeping up in line with the increase in costs. Even the pension scheme itself has changed from a final salary one to a hybrid one since we initially joined it. So overall, you're paying in more and getting less than originally expected back in retirement. That's quite worrying, especially if you only realise this as you're getting closer to your own retirement. Yet another reason why kids should be taught about financial management as part of the school curriculum, as it would really benefit them if they could learn these things when they are young. So, let's talk a bit more about our pension. Currently, we pay in 9.8% of our salary to our pension, and our employer pays in 21.6%. But you can see from this slide just how the percentages have increased over the years. Now, I'm sure these increases have in part been related to the valuations of the scheme, whereby the pension provider must undertake regular valuations to ensure that there is enough money in the scheme to pay out to its members, and to make adjustments where necessary when issues or deficits are identified. You're either going to get less out or you need to contribute more to get the original expected amount out. That's understandable to a point. Where groups start to question changes to the scheme, the figures, the valuation methodology, or decisions made by the trustees of the pension scheme, then that's when things can get ugly and messy, and that is exactly where our pension scheme is at the moment. Our union, the UCU, has been in dispute with UKK, which represents university employers, over changes to the scheme and valuation figures of our USS pension scheme. These could be detrimental to staff and to universities as a whole in being able to attract and retain staff. The changes, if implemented, would significantly affect the retirement benefits of younger and newer staff. The UCU argued on the valuation methodology process for the valuations and also provided examples to show the potential losses that would be incurred by members. This dispute was ongoing way before the pandemic even started and is still ongoing at the moment. Universities incurred strike action, working to rule, and marking boycotts. The dispute was further inflamed at the last valuation, which was March 2020, as this was just at the time when global markets were going into free fall because of the coronavirus pandemic. Unsurprisingly, the fund then subsequently reported a large deficit in the fund. USS has since agreed that the situation may not be as bad as previously stated, and it is expected that the 2023 valuation will be more realistic. So whilst the dispute is not yet over, there is a new timetable for the new 2023 valuation to be completed, the results and outcome of which should be known by April 2024. That said, USS have been recently associated with two new issues. Firstly, that some of their members' details have been hacked through a partner site, and also that as one of the biggest shareholders in Thames Water, which is currently in a lot of debt, that may have a detrimental impact on the pension fund and subsequently on the members. So in terms of our pension figures, all we can really do is see what the next pension statement, due in September for the 2022-23 investment period, shows. We can hope that the future valuation is not any worse than expected and potentially slightly better. And we can continue to use the current modeler tool as a basis to estimate what our pensions may be, especially if we take them earlier than our target retirement date. On initial look, for me, to take my pension at 55 years instead of the normal 67 years, I would get around 53% of the statement annual pension figure, as I'd be taking money 12 years earlier than expected. But at least we have some more figures to use in our planning. Thanks for watching and listening. We hope you found this information valuable, and if you are on a similar journey to us, then please consider liking, subscribing and dinging that bell for future updates. In the meantime, it's onwards and upwards towards retirement for us.